This is a phenomenal city, and we want to honor the extraordinary nature of our community. This city can do great things, and this city council is going to work day in and day out to make sure our city can achieve our potential. My late mentor, former Premier Bill Davis, taught me the importance of a big tent approach, being open to good ideas regardless of where they come from. I credit the former Premier for showing me there is a better path forward than the ideological battles we see too often in politics. 4 years ago, it was the former Premier who did my swearing in as mayor. And although he's no longer with us today, his legacy continues to inspire us in the city of Brampton. I will listen to and serve all the people of our great city. We are neighbors, we walk the same sidewalks, use the same parks, shop in the same stores, and dream of a vibrant city, even if we prefer different paths on how to get there. We must respect, learn from, and hear each other. Each of us bring different experiences and life stories that shape our relationship with government and our vision for Brampton. During the campaign, I had the opportunity and the privilege to listen to countless ideas from our residents. And I'm grateful to be joined in this effort by an amazing team of members of City Council. And I look forward to working productively with our new and returning council members. Each one of you offers a unique point of view that will make our conversations richer and our decisions more collaborative. Let us take a moment to introduce our council. Our returning city councilors, Rowena Santos and Harkirat Singh. Our returning regional councilors, Paul Vicente, Michael Palesci, Marta Medeiros, and Pat Fortini. And I'd actually like to do a special introduction for our new members of council, who the city may not know as well. City Councillor Navjeet Brar represents wards 2 and 6. You've had a lot of applause tonight, Navjeet. There's a lot of 2 and 6 fans here tonight. One thing that really inspired me about Navjeet is that during the pandemic, she worked as a frontline healthcare worker. And I think it's that selfless approach that's going to serve wards 2 and 6 well. City Councillor Dennis Keenan from wards 3 and 4 he's an immigrant from Scotland who grew up in not-for-profit housing and now runs a successful large electrical contracting company and 2 restaurants. An incredible story of success. Welcome to City Council, Denny. City Councillor Rod Power, who represents wards 7 and 8, comes from a background of human resources, and we certainly know that skill set will be helpful at City Hall. Regional Councillor Gurpratap Singh Toor from wards 9 and 10. He has been a lifelong resident, is actually the youngest city councillor in Brampton history, the tender age of 29. During the horrifying events in Ukraine, Gurpratap actually went with Kelsa Aid, an incredible organization in our community, and he went to Ukraine to help. It's a new day at City Hall in Brampton where residents are first. Gone are the days of any notion of nepotism, untendered contracts, and catering to special interests of any old guard. We are building a modern, transparent, accountable city, a city every Bramptonian can be proud of. Brampton is Canada's 9th largest city with a population over 700,000. We are growing at 3 times the provincial average and the fastest growing of the country's 25 big cities. Balancing growth with public expectations is both a challenge and an opportunity. During the recent election campaign, candidates heard loud and clear from residents their concerns, and one of the top concerns was public safety. In the past 2 months, 5 police officers have been killed in the line of duty. Toronto Police Constable Andrew Hong was killed in a shooting in Mississauga that shook our region on September 12th. On September 14th, Constable Travis Gillespie, a York Regional officer, was killed in a collision in Markham. On October 11th, Constable Morgan Russell and Constable Devin Northrop from the South Simcoe Police Department were shot and killed in the line of duty. Most recently, RCMP Constable Shaylin Yang from Burnaby, BC was murdered. It was 16 months ago that a Brampton resident, Jeffrey Northrup, a detective with the Toronto Police, was killed in a parking garage, leaving a wife and 3 children in our community devastated. Police officers run towards danger when everyone else goes in the opposite direction. There is a debt of gratitude that our city has. They need to have the resources in place to do their job, keep our community safe, and I wanted to take a moment to thank them for their sacrifice, for their work, and for their efforts in Peel Region. In Peel Region, we have 144 officers per 100,000 residents who are doing a great job protecting our residents within the resources they have in one of the fastest growing, most challenging regions. Montreal has 221. Edmonton has 182 per 100,000. Toronto, 162. Calgary, 160. Brampton's 104, 44 officers per 100,000. Since 2015, we've seen a 75% increase in the calls for family and intimate partner violence. And we're seeing an average of 468 auto thefts every month. It's easier to steal a car than ever before. Auto thefts have become a revenue tool for organized crime, which we have to address. And what I've heard from our residents is enough is enough. Give the police the tools to do their job to keep us safe. I campaigned on a plan that I'm intent on implementing. Hire 250 additional Peel police officers to serve Peel Region. Triple the auto thefts organized crime police units. Expand photo radar speed bumps near schools and parks. Hire 30 new civilian staff at 911. And we must, as a community, have zero tolerance on hate crimes in places of worship. Additional security for places of worship is necessary. No one should ever face fear, intimidation, or vandalism in their place of worship in our country. Not now, not ever. I appreciate the innovative approach that Chief Nish and his team have taken to public safety. The focus with their launch of the mental health and addiction strategy. You can't criminalize mental health. And whether it's the mobile crisis rapid response team, the specialized mental health training that we incorporate, the partnership with the Canadian Mental Health Association, and the recent partnerships with community associations, it's so critical. It's important we have the right responses to the right challenges. Now, prior to my election as mayor, one of my frustrations was I saw there was gun and gang funding for Ottawa and Toronto, but we didn't have that same tools in Peel Region. And gangs don't care about municipal boundaries. They're not going to say, we're going to stop at the Etobicoke border. And I'm very glad we've been able to successfully lobby for provincial fundings to have that same resources for the Peel Police, and I know Chief Nish is putting it to good use. We've also brought in CCTV cameras on highways 410 and 403 that has led to many arrests, embracing new technology. My long-term goal for Brampton is to make it the most inconvenient, most miserable place in Canada to commit a crime. And we're going to make sure, Chief, we're going to make sure you have the tools to do just that. I also want to talk about our economy here in Brampton. Bill Davis used to say it's important to focus on the jobs of tomorrow. I remember him saying that in a speech in the 1960s that I read. And that is as relevant today as it is back in the 1960s. So we're really focused in Brampton on creating the jobs of tomorrow, high-skilled innovation jobs. We remain dedicated to establishing Brampton as a prime destination to invest and reinforce Brampton's unique position in our Canadian Innovation Corridor. Partners in our innovation district include the Brampton Entrepreneur Centre, Beehive Brampton, who by the way have already landed 54 startups, the TMU-led Venture Zone, Altitude Accelerator, the Founder Institute, Algoma University, the Rogers Cybersecurity Catalyst. When they had the Canada-US conference on cybersecurity, it wasn't in Washington, it wasn't in Ottawa, it was at Lionhead in Brampton. We're building a niche of success in cybersecurity. These are jobs of the future. We're not going to see less cybersecurity jobs in the years ahead, we're going to see more. And I should reference our history in the automotive sector. You know, Brampton obviously has a major presence in the automotive sector, 3,000 jobs with Stellantis, previously Fiat Chrysler, and those jobs were at risk. We heard those calls from Unifor that they needed help. They needed to adjust, or those jobs would disappear with the transformation we're seeing to electric vehicles. And we worked with Unifor Local 1285 to advocate on their behalf, to get a provincial and federal partnership to protect those jobs. And I'm proud to say we now have a commitment that beginning in 2024, Brampton will be retooled, fully modernized, and when production resumes in 2025, the plant will be producing electric vehicles right here in Brampton. Jobs of the future, secure jobs. And I referenced in the video about MDA. There's no better example of jobs of the future than MDA. The new state-of-the-art facility will be home to Canadarm3 and over 700 highly skilled jobs. Any city in Canada would have dreamed of landing this investment. $100 million investment. You know, we created a special incentive program to convince them to make this investment in Brampton. It's a 200,000 square foot facility. We have partnerships with the provincial and federal governments. It is going to feature state-of-the-art labs, manufacturing, research, development, assembly, integration, test facilities. When they move robotics on the International Space Station, they're going to have to radio down to Brampton. 700 high-skilled jobs, and that's happening in our community. If you go to Financial Drive, they're actually building it as we speak. It looks like a NASA-style facility. I look at Electra's brand new Sustainable Operations Center on Kennedy Road, 400 jobs. We are seeing expansions at Maple Lodge Farms, Maple Leaf Foods, Boston Scientific, Canadian Tire, Brampton Brick. Brampton is booming. And I've got the numbers that back it up. We've seen in non-residential construction, this is actually extraordinary, a 74% increase, more than double since 2020. We are issuing an average of 1,000 building permits a month and are on track to complete nearly 280,000 building inspections this year alone. It's clear from the economic activity of investors that investors are choosing Brampton with their wallets. And the recent build study showed that Brampton has made the greatest progress in all of the GTA in approvals. The average is 34 months in the GTA, and in Brampton it's down to 13 months. No red tape in Brampton. You know, one of my favorite topics about where we're going as a community is recreation. And we are making major investments in recreation. A new weatherproof dome and pavilion at the Save Max Sports Centre, the new Riverstone Community Centre, which we just opened a few months ago, which is a 34,000 square foot recreation facility that we protected. And I know former Councillor Gail Miles is here tonight, and she was part of that fight. Thank you, Gail, for your advocacy. We have the expansion of the Balmoral Recreation Centre, renovations to the Howden Recreation Centre, the new Victoria Park Arena. Ron Evans is smiling somewhere because there's going to be box lacrosse there. Councillor Pleshy is definitely smiling with Navjeet Kaur about the 116,000 square foot new recreation centre, the Embleton Community Centre, which is being built in Wards 2 and 6, 116,000 square feet. Just to name a few of the amenities there that we're building: a swimming pool, a gymnasium, fitness center, tennis courts, a children's playground, a splash pad, junior soccer fields, a seasonal ice rink, basketball courts, a skate park, picnic areas, and I'm sure Councillor Pleshy will add one or two items before we're done construction. Chris Gibson is going through a renovation as well. The Gore Meadows Activity Hub will have 5 more illuminated cricket pitches, so any cricket fans, there's more cricket coming to Brampton. Sandalwood Heights Adventure Park will offer a wide range of recreation and fitness activities. We've got the new Youth Century Gardens Recreation Centre that will include a boxed soccer court being installed in the name of Atiba Hutchinson. There's plenty of more outdoor amenities too. We're investing in our trail system. We have a partnership right now with the Brampton-Orangeville Railway to add 50 kilometers of trail. That's on top of the 550 kilometers we already have. We want to make Brampton the easiest place to be healthy, to be active, to stay physically fit. And once we're revitalized, once all these renovations are done, we're going to have the best recreational amenities in the country in our city. And the best example of the talent you can produce with great recreation is you look at Canada's team going to the FIFA World Cup in Qatar in a matter of days. The New York Times called me and said, "What's in the water in Brampton?" And I said, "It's good, clean, healthy water." "What do you mean?" They said they've never seen a city produce so many members of a national football team. 7 members of Team Canada going to Qatar are from Brampton. The captain, Atiba Hutchinson, Tajon Buchanan, Kyle Lauren, Liam Miller, Junior Hoylett, Ike Ugbe, the great Jonathan Osorio, and we're going to be cheering them on, playing those games at Garden Square. So go Canada, go. And we're seeing major expansions in transit. Equitable and timely funding of the Huron-Ontario Main Street LRT, the Queen Street Highway, BRT systems will support growth and sustainability. We're strengthening our regional transit system with expansions to GO, all-day, two-way GO, and the Innovation Corridor will build on this momentum. We've got actually the fastest growing transit system in Canada in Brampton. I think that speaks to a great transit team. And just last year, we were the first big city in Canada to bring in free transit for seniors. So a big shout out to our seniors. And I also want to thank ATU Local 1573. We've got some of the most dedicated transit operators in the country in the city of Brampton, and thank you for their service. And we're making great strides on the environment. We made a climate change declaration in August of 2019, and a lot of cities will make goals on the environment, and they want to be. The goal is, the intention is to be good stewards of the environment. But far too often, there is no action to follow up those words. And we're doing the opposite in Brampton. We're in the process of purchasing 450 zero-emission buses. Our entire transit fleet will be transformed by 2027. So to put that in real terms, transitioning our full fleet, and we'll be the first big city in Canada to have a full transit fleet that is completely electrified, means we save approximately 115 tons of CO2 per bus per year, totaling approximately 53,000 tons annually of greenhouse gases, or the equivalent of removing 12,000 cars from the road in Brampton. Think about that. And I'm grateful for our fire chief who just ordered the first electric fire truck in Ontario. So well done, Chief Boys. We have a goal to plant 1 million trees in Brampton, and in honor of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's 550th birthday, we actually expedited that tree planting. We've seen 43,000 trees planted in Brampton as part of this goal with our regional partners, and we're retrofitting our recreation centers. Right now, with the support of a federal grant, the Susan Fennell Sportsplex will be a net zero recreation center. And to put that in real terms again, it was emitting 1,100 tons of carbon dioxide annually, which is the equivalent of 238 cars. Once again, net zero. We're making real, tangible reductions to be an example of environmental sustainability in our city. And lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our ambitions on healthcare. Because 4 years ago, the crux of our goals and aspirations were we needed to lobby for a new hospital. And I know we've got the senior team here at Osler. Dr. Frank Martino's here, and we've got exceptional leadership at Osler. And I still remember we declared a healthcare emergency. Councillor Singh moved the motion. And the media in Toronto were so confused. Why did they declare a healthcare emergency? Normally only declare an emergency if it's a rail derailment or an adverse weather event like a tornado. And they said, why did you issue an emergency? And the reason we did was to push the conversation about why we needed healthcare investments in our city. And I'm pleased to report that that effort has paid dividends. We now have a provincial commitment of over $1.1 billion towards healthcare in the city of Brampton. So to our MPPs here tonight, thank you. $1.1 billion. And what that means is Peel Memorial, which was decommissioned in 2007, we're going to build a new hospital there with 250 beds initially, up to 350, full service, 24/7, emergency department. Our community desperately needs this new hospital, and construction starts next year. We're also going to get a cancer care center as part of Brampton Civic, and the first new med school in the GTA in over 100 years in partnership with the Toronto Metropolitan University, first class starting 2025. Talk about exciting healthcare news in the city of Brampton. So to say we have our plates full with an ambitious agenda is an understatement. These 10 city councillors are going to be very, very busy, and Brampton needs us to be busy. This is a phenomenal city, and we want to honor the extraordinary nature of our community. I continue to be so proud of the resiliency of Brampton. You know, during the pandemic, there were people that pointed fingers at our city saying they had a higher positivity rate. The reason we had a higher positivity rate is because we had the essential workers that were keeping Canada's supply chain intact. Transportation, logistics, food processing. Canada's supply chain would have been in tatters if it wasn't for Brampton. Canada needed Brampton. Brampton delivered. We answered the call. We stepped up. This city can do great things. And this city council is going to work day in and day out to make sure our city can achieve our potential. My commitment to city council, to city staff, and to the wider community is to lead the best way I can, to be a champion and a fighter for our city. I will work hard every day over the next 4 years to create opportunities for Bramptonians to succeed and thrive. I believe in my heart of hearts that the best days for our city lie ahead, and I can't wait to get to work tomorrow at City Hall. Thank you so much.